The small town of Willowbrook in Massachusetts was embracing the beautiful season of autumn foliage. In a white two-story house on Maple Street, Elizabeth Hamilton was preparing dinner while reviewing tomorrow's lesson plans. She had been teaching English at the town's middle school for 8 years. Her students affectionately called her Ms. Liz, and she enjoyed the deep trust of parents. The kitchen door opened, and her husband Michael came home. He worked as a loan officer at the local credit union, and his honest, gentle nature was beloved by the townspeople. The couple had married 5 years ago and built a modest but warm household. "Welcome home," Liz turned around with a smile. "How was your day?" "Several new mortgage applications." "Lots of young couples, which is wonderful," Michael answered while loosening his tie. "How about you?" "Grading book reports from the 8th graders. They all have such wonderful sensibilities." Their ordinary but fulfilling daily routine was occasionally disrupted by phone calls from Liz's family home. Today was no exception. The telephone rang loudly. "Liz?" From the other end of the receiver, her mother Dorothy's voice could be heard. "I need to talk to you about my birthday party next week. I want you to help with decorating the venue. And on the day itself, please come by 2 in the afternoon to handle the reception." Dorothy's voice carried in tone that brooked no argument. "I understand. But Michael will come with me." There was a brief silence on the other end of the phone. "Michael too?" "Well, I suppose that can't be helped. But make sure he wears a proper suit. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of the relatives." Liz swallowed a sigh. Her mother had never been fond of Michael since their marriage. "He may call himself a banker, but he's just at a small credit union after all. You should learn from Victoria, who married a doctor." These were her mother's constant refrains. Her father George had a gentle nature but was always submissive in front of her mother, who held complete decision-making power in the household. He rarely opposed her mother's opinions even in front of his daughters. "What about Victoria?" Liz asked about her sister. "That child is busy. Since David is a heart surgeon, he might have emergency surgery." Dorothy's voice suddenly became warm. "But she said she'll help as much as she can." Liz gave a bitter smile. Victoria was her mother's pride and joy. She had married David, a heart surgeon who graduated from a prestigious medical school and now lived as a housewife in a luxurious home. Her mother constantly spoke proudly about Victoria to relatives and neighbors. "Speaking of which, about the party attire," Dorothy continued. "I want you to wear something modest. I'm the star of the show, so don't draw attention to yourself." "Mother, that's..." Victoria bought a new dress. A very lovely designer piece. Pride seeped into her mother's voice. "Something dignified and teacher-like will be perfectly fine for you." After hanging up, Liz told Michael about her conversation with her mother. He shook his head and said, "Your mother doesn't realize how wonderful you are." "I'm used to it, so it's fine." Liz squeezed her husband's hand. "But thank you." In truth, Liz had been compared to others by her mother since childhood. Though her grades were excellent, she was told they were not as good as Victoria's, and when she went to college, she was criticized that she could have gone somewhere better. Even becoming a teacher was met with her mother's displeasure. There were jobs that paid better. Still, Liz had no regrets about her choices. Watching her students grow was the most valuable work she could imagine, and her married life with Michael was happy. However, family gatherings like her mother's birthday party were always an ordeal for her. She had to endure comparisons and snide remarks from her mother in front of nearly 30 relatives. After dinner, the couple sat quietly on the sofa. Michael suddenly spoke up. "I have a bad feeling about your mother's party." "Why?" "I don't know. But something feels different from usual." Michael looked troubled. "It's painful for me to watch you get hurt in front of people who don't value you." Liz was warmed by her husband's words, but felt a vague anxiety in her heart. A week later on Friday, Liz finished her final lesson preparation in the middle school faculty room and called out to her colleague Sarah. "Good work today, Sarah. I'm leaving early today. For your mother's birthday party preparations, right?" "Good luck." Sarah looked worried. "But don't overdo it. You always sacrifice too much of yourself for your family. Liz smiled while putting papers in her bag. It's fine. I'm used to it. At 3 in the afternoon, Liz arrived at the Grand Plaza, a luxury hotel downtown. The venue her mother had chosen was the most prestigious hotel in town. Brilliant chandeliers sparkled in the lobby, and the marble floors gleamed. Her mother clearly wanted to show off her economic status to the relatives. Liz. Her mother Dorothy appeared wearing a large pearl necklace. Her hair was perfectly styled, and she was dressed in an expensive suit. You're late. I've been preparing for 4 hours already. I'm sorry, Mother. I had classes. So inflexible, Dorothy sighed. Well, never mind. Just help with the table settings. I need to check the flower arrangements too. The party venue was a luxurious private room called the Rose Room. A large oval table that could seat 30 people was placed in the center, with golden tableware arranged on white tablecloths. Large windows on the walls offered a panoramic view of the town. Liz silently folded napkins and adjusted the positions of glasses. Her mother walked around the venue, continuously giving detailed instructions. The flowers are facing the wrong way. And put 2 champagne flutes in front of my seat. One for toasting and one for dinner. Yes, Mother. Then Victoria made her entrance. Dressed in a deep red cocktail dress and sparkling diamond earrings, she looked like she had stepped out of a fashion magazine. Mama, what a lovely venue. Victoria gave her mother a kiss on the cheek. I think David will be impressed. But I'm sorry if he gets called in for an emergency. Being a heart surgeon is really demanding. Of course, Victoria. Your husband saves people's lives. Dorothy's face lit up. But you'll stay with me as much as possible today, won't you? Yes, of course. It's Mama's special birthday. Liz continued setting the table while listening to their conversation. Her sister showed no intention of helping and gracefully commented on the venue's decorations while standing next to their mother. Sister, is that what you're planning to wear? Victoria suddenly addressed Liz. We'll be taking lots of photos today, so make sure you dress properly. Yes, I have something prepared, Liz answered briefly. Indeed, Liz had chosen a modest navy blue dress as her mother instructed. While it wasn't cheap, it would pale in comparison to her sister's luxurious dress. Michael had also bought a new suit, but it was a conservative gray one. At 5 in the afternoon, her father George arrived. He looked around the venue admiringly and said, "Wonderful venue, Dorothy. It's fitting for your birthday." Thank you, George. But this much is only natural, isn't it? It's important to show our economic standing, Dorothy smiled with satisfaction. Her father noticed Liz and approached her. Liz, good work. Thank you for helping so much after work. It's fine, Dad. Liz was warmed by her father's kindness. He was the only one in the family who tried to understand her. How's Michael? He's fine. He had an important meeting at the bank today, so he's coming directly here. Just then, Dorothy interrupted with a sharp voice. George, if you have time to chat with Liz, please check the sound system. I have a speech to prepare. Her father looked apologetically at Liz and followed her mother's instructions. At 6 o'clock, relatives began arriving one after another. Liz stood at the reception as her mother had instructed. Uncles, aunts, cousins, and family friends appeared in glamorous attire. Everyone offered congratulations to Dorothy and presented gifts. Liz dear, it's been so long, her Aunt Margaret called out. Are you still teaching? Yes, it's been 8 years now. I see. You must envy Victoria for becoming a doctor's wife. Marriage partners really are important. Margaret's words weren't malicious, but they pierced Liz's heart like small thorns. The party officially began at 7 o'clock. Michael arrived just in time and sat next to Liz. He was dressed in his new suit but looked nervous. Sorry, I'm late. The meeting ran long, Michael apologized quietly. It's fine. Good work today, Liz lightly squeezed her husband's hand. Dorothy sat at the head table, behaving like a queen. She made rounds to each table, chatting with relatives. She spent particularly long periods next to Victoria and David, proudly talking about David's work. David successfully performed a 12-hour heart transplant surgery last week, Dorothy's voice echoed through the venue. He's a wonderful doctor. Our pride and joy. Meanwhile, her mother rarely approached Liz and Michael's table. She only occasionally sent cold glances their way and never introduced them. When dinner began, her mother suddenly stood up and began a speech. Everyone, thank you for coming to my birthday party today. As I look back on my life, I feel very satisfied. Applause rang out. I'm especially proud of my daughters. Victoria married a wonderful doctor and has built an ideal family. And Liz, her mother's gaze turned to Liz, is working steadily as a teacher. The temperature difference in those words made Liz's chest tighten. However, she managed a smile and joined in the applause. After the speech ended, her mother began making rounds again. At that moment, Liz noticed her mother holding a small white package. Her mother carefully tucked it into her pocket. I wonder what she's carrying, Liz thought to herself, but quickly forgot about it. The party became increasingly lively, with relatives drinking together and reminiscing about old times. However, Liz continued to feel uncomfortable. She sensed something different about her mother's behavior than usual. Michael seemed to share the same anxiety, occasionally looking at Liz with concern. About an hour into the party, the main dish of roast beef was served. The venue was filled with the laughter and conversation of relatives. Liz ate modestly while having quiet conversations with Michael beside her. That's the third time we've heard about David's hospital, Liz whispered with a bitter smile. Your mother really looks proud, Michael looked at Liz sympathetically. But your work is wonderful too. Just then, Dorothy approached Liz's table. She held a bottle of white wine in her hand. Liz, enjoy yourself today, her mother wore an unusually kind smile. You're always too serious. Have a drink and relax for once. Liz was surprised. It had been a long time since her mother had been this kind to her. Mother, but I'm driving home. Today is special. You can just take a taxi home, Dorothy began pouring white wine into Liz's wine glass. This is a special vintage. I had it imported from France. Michael casually watched her mother's hands. Then he witnessed her mother sprinkling some small white powder into Liz's glass with her left hand while pouring the wine. It happened in an instant, and no one else around noticed. Michael's heart began beating violently. He tried to confirm her mother's action again in disbelief, but she had already placed the wine bottle on the table and was talking to Liz with a natural smile. Come, let's toast, Dorothy raised her own glass. To my birthday, with my family gathered together. Liz was moved by her mother's kindness and reached for her wine glass. At that moment, Michael frantically grabbed Liz's hand tightly. Let's go to the bathroom. Right now, Michael's voice was tense. What? Liz was confused. What's wrong? You look pale. Sweat appeared on Michael's forehead. He tried desperately to appear calm, but his voice was shaking. I'll explain later. Just get up from your seat. But Mother just poured wine for me. Please, right now, Michael pulled Liz's arm. Trust me. Dorothy watched the two of them and slightly frowned. What's wrong, Michael? Are you feeling unwell? I'm sorry, I'm feeling a bit. Michael was bad at lying but desperately tried to cover up. Liz, could you come with me? Liz sensed that her husband's condition was not normal and stood up. I'm sorry. We'll be right back. I suppose it can't be helped. Dorothy's smile was perfect, but a flash of disappointment appeared in her eyes. Take care. Michael pulled Liz's hand and hurried out of the venue. The relatives looked curiously at their sudden departure, but their attention soon turned elsewhere amid the party's liveliness. Once in the hallway, Michael looked around and led Liz toward the elevator hall. Fortunately, no one else was there. Michael, what on earth happened? Liz asked with a trembling voice. You really look pale. Should we go to the hospital? I'm fine, Michael pressed the elevator button. But there's something I need to tell you. The elevator arrived, and they got in. When the doors closed, Michael leaned against the wall and took a deep breath. Your mother, Michael's voice was shaking, put something in your wine. For a moment, Liz couldn't understand. What are you saying? I saw it. Your mother, while pouring the white wine, used her left hand to put some white powder into your glass, Michael explained desperately. It happened in an instant, but I definitely saw it. That's impossible, Liz shook her head. Mother would never do such a thing. You must have been mistaken. Liz, please believe me, Michael grabbed both of Liz's shoulders. Do you think I have any reason to lie about something like this? Your mother was trying to make you drink something. The elevator reached the first floor and the doors opened. Liz walked toward the lobby with a dazed expression. Michael stayed close to support her. But why? Liz's voice became small. Why would mother do that to me? I don't know. But she definitely put something in there. Michael looked around and seated Liz on a secluded sofa in the corner. I'm glad I stopped you before you could drink it. Liz covered her face with her hands. Various thoughts raced through her mind. Her mother's unusually kind attitude today, the rare offer of wine, and the small white package she had been carrying. Maybe, Liz looked up, that small package mother was carrying. I saw it before dinner. What kind of package? Something like a small white bag. It might have been medicine or something, Liz's voice trembled. But surely not to her own daughter. Michael squeezed Liz's hand. Think about your mother's behavior. Was there anything different about today? Liz desperately searched her memory. Come to think of it, she was strangely kind today. Usually she ignores me, but she went out of her way to bring wine. It must have been planned, anger mixed into Michael's voice. I wonder what she intended to do after making you drink something. Just then, Liz's cell phone rang. Her sister Victoria's name appeared on the screen. Should I answer? Michael asked. Liz hesitated for a moment, then answered the phone. Hello, Victoria? Sister, where are you? Victoria's voice could be heard. Mama is worried. How is Michael feeling? Liz answered calmly, he's not feeling well. He was probably tired. We're going home early. I see. Take care. I'll tell Mama. After hanging up, Liz sighed deeply. What should we do now? Michael looked at his wife. First, we can't go back there. I don't know what your mother was planning, but it's too dangerous. But we don't have any proof, Liz was confused. What if we're wrong? We're not wrong, Michael declared. I definitely saw it. Your mother was trying to hurt you. The large clock in the lobby pointed to 9 o'clock. The party was probably still going on upstairs. But for Liz and Michael, returning to that place was no longer an option. Let's go home, Liz stood up. Tonight, I want to think about this carefully. In the hotel lobby, Liz and Michael sat down on a secluded sofa in the corner. Liz gripped her handbag on her lap with trembling hands. Michael, please tell me again in detail, Liz's voice was small. Did mother really put something in my glass? Michael took a deep breath and began explaining the situation as accurately as possible. When your mother approached with the wine bottle, I was casually watching her hands. She was holding a small white bag in her left hand, and while pouring the wine, she sprinkled its contents into your glass. How much? About half a teaspoon, I'd say. But she definitely put something in. And she did it very naturally, so you wouldn't notice, Michael continued with shaking hands. Your mother's expression was normal too. As if she was used to doing it. Liz covered her face with both hands. I can't believe it. To her own daughter. Then Michael remembered something. Come to think of it, before the party started today, I heard your mother talking to someone. Who? I think it was your Aunt Margaret. When I was checking the sound system, I heard them talking quietly in a corner of the venue, Michael recalled. Your mother said, this should teach that child a lesson. Teach a lesson? Liz looked up. A lesson about what? I don't know. But then Aunt Margaret asked worriedly, but is it safe? And your mother answered, don't worry. I'm just going to embarrass her a little. Liz's face turned pale. Embarrass her? She was probably planning to make you do something humiliating in front of the relatives. Anger filled Michael's voice. Give you a laxative or something, and in front of everyone. Why? Why would she do such a thing? Liz's voice became tearful. Michael squeezed Liz's hand. Your mother has always looked down on you, taking advantage of the fact that you're always modest and don't talk back. But deep down, she probably knows you're superior to her. That's not true. You're a wonderful teacher. You're loved by your students and respected by your colleagues. Your mother is jealous of you, Michael continued quietly. So she tried to bring you down. She wanted to embarrass you in front of the relatives and make them think Liz really is a failure of a daughter. Liz stood up and walked toward the lobby's large windows. The streetlights glowed in the darkness outside. I've been trying so hard to get Mother's approval since I was a child. Liz placed her hand on the window glass. But no matter how hard I tried, I was always compared to Victoria. Michael watched his wife from behind. You're more than wonderful enough. But today Mother was kind to me. For the first time in so long, Liz's voice trembled. And yet, she was actually trying to trap me. Just then, Liz's cell phone rang again. This time it was her father George. Dad? Liz answered the phone. Liz, are you all right? How is Michael? Her father's worried voice could be heard. Yes, we're fine. But Dad, leaving the party like this. Actually, George's voice became quiet, your mother is acting strange. After you two left, she's been irritated for some reason. Liz exchanged glances with Michael. In what way? She keeps looking at her watch, saying, why aren't they back yet? And she keeps staring at your wine glass. Her father was puzzled. Did something happen? Liz wondered whether she should tell her father everything. However, since there was no concrete proof yet, she decided it would be dangerous to involve her father. Dad, we've decided to go home. Michael is tired. I see. Don't overdo it. Take care. After hanging up, Liz turned to Michael with a determined expression. Let's go home. I don't want to be in that place anymore. They left the hotel and headed to the parking lot. Once in the car, Liz sighed deeply. What should I do now? Call Mother tomorrow and talk to her normally? Michael answered while starting the engine, it depends on what you want to do. But in my opinion, you should keep your distance from that family. The car drove through the quiet residential streets. Liz looked out the window, remembering her childhood. Her mother always demanded perfection, and if she fell even slightly short of expectations, she would become cold. Even when her grades were good, she was told she should be able to do better, and when she wanted to play with friends, she was refused with its studies come first. Michael, was I really loved by Mother? Liz murmured quietly. I don't know. But what kind of mother would try to harm her loving daughter? Michael glanced back at the traffic light. You deserve to value yourself more. When they got home, the two sat quietly in the living room. Liz looked down at the navy dress she was wearing today. It was the modest outfit her mother had specified. Michael, Liz looked at her husband, what do you think would have happened to me if you hadn't noticed today? I don't want to think about it, Michael shook his head. But you probably would have gotten sick in front of the relatives, and everyone would have said things like, Liz really is weak, or, she can't handle stress. And Mother would have gained sympathy by saying, my daughter has a weak constitution, Liz laughed bitterly. A perfect script. The living room clock pointed to 10 o'clock. The party was probably still going on. Mother was surely explaining Liz's absence to the relatives right now. Tomorrow, Mother will call, Liz stood up. She'll ask, how are you feeling, with apparent concern. How do you plan to answer? After thinking for a long time, Liz answered quietly, I think I'll start by returning the spare key to the house. Michael was surprised. Really? I've had enough. Today opened my eyes, Liz looked out the window. I'm 34 years old. How long am I going to stay under mother's control? I'll support you. Whatever decision you make, Michael stood up and embraced Liz. Thank you, Liz buried her face in her husband's chest. If you hadn't been there, I would have. It's all right now, Michael stroked his wife's hair. You can be free. That night, Liz couldn't sleep at all. But it wasn't because of fear or anxiety, it was because of a sense of liberation she was feeling for the first time. 3 months later, on a winter morning, Liz was making coffee in the kitchen while looking at the snow that had accumulated outside the window. The day after that terrible party, she had returned the spare key to her mother as promised and informed her of her intention to cut off all future contact. Her mother first became furious, then tried emotional manipulation, and finally called her ungrateful. However, Liz's resolve did not waver. She noticed a letter had arrived in the mailbox and went outside in her coat to get it. The sender was her mother Dorothy. It was the third apology letter. I only wanted to guide you in the right direction. As a mother, I wanted you to become stronger. My actions that time went too far. Please forgive me. Liz threw the letter in the trash without reading it. She had emotionally read the first letter, but her mother's words no longer moved her heart. Another letter? Michael asked while tying his tie before work. I didn't read it. There's no point anymore, Liz turned around and smiled. More importantly, I'll find out the results of yesterday's interview today. Liz had taken the examination for promotion to vice principal. Her colleague Sarah had recommended her. Since cutting ties with her mother, she had been able to concentrate on her own life. At 2 in the afternoon, Principal Miller called. Liz, you passed. We'd like to welcome you as vice principal starting next year. Liz answered with her voice trembling with joy, thank you so much. I'll do my very best. After hanging up, Liz unconsciously made a small victory gesture. For the first time, she felt she had achieved success that was purely her own. That evening, Michael came home looking happy. Liz, I have good news too. My promotion to branch manager has been decided. Really? Liz jumped into her husband's arms. Congratulations. The two embraced in celebration. Since being freed from her mother's control, their bond as a couple had grown even deeper. Actually, Michael continued bashfully, with the promotion, there's also a possibility of transferring to the state capital office. What do you think about starting a new life in a new place? Liz thought for a moment before answering, that's a wonderful idea. There's nothing here to tie us down anymore. A week later, Liz received a call from her father George on her cell phone. Liz, how are you doing? Her father's voice sounded tired. I'm fine, Dad. How about you? Actually, her father continued in a heavy tone, the whole family is in an uproar about the situation with your mother. On the night of the party, Aunt Margaret told the other relatives. Liz was surprised. What did she tell them? That your mother was trying to make you drink something. Margaret became worried and eventually told the truth, her father sighed. Now everyone is avoiding your mother. I see, Liz had complicated feelings. And, her father continued, Victoria has also started keeping her distance from your mother. David apparently said, your mother is abnormal. Liz didn't answer. Liz, I support your decision, her father's voice gained strength. For 63 years, I've continued to obey your mother. But I've reached my limit. I'm considering separation. Dad, Liz was surprised. That submissive father was rebelling against their mother for the first time. You were right. We did terrible things to you, her father's voice shook. It may be too late, but please let me apologize. Liz felt tears streaming down her cheeks. Dad, thank you. After hanging up, Liz took a deep breath. Finally, she felt truly free. A year later in spring, Liz and Michael were having an adoption interview in their new home in the state capital. The couple had decided to have children and were trying to build a family filled with love. A stable couple like you two would surely make wonderful parents, social worker Jennifer smiled at them. Liz was living fulfilling days as vice principal, and Michael was also contributing to the community as branch manager. Letters from her mother still arrived occasionally, but Liz continued to dispose of them without ever opening them. One evening, Liz was planting flowers in the garden of her new home. The elderly woman next door called out to her. "What lovely flowers. Watching you two as a couple, I can feel what real love is." Liz smiled. "Thank you. Family isn't just about blood relations, you know," the elderly woman continued kindly. "What's important is respecting each other and accepting each other as you are." That night, lying in bed holding hands with Michael, Liz said quietly, "It looks like we can create a real family." "We're already creating one," Michael looked at his wife. "You and me, and the children we'll welcome. That's a real family." Outside the window, the wind of a new season was blowing. For the first time, Liz felt happiness from the bottom of her heart. Liberation from toxic parents was indeed the beginning of a new life.